All right. This is probably one of the most important videos I ever recorded. It's simply, I don't know how to explain. Something happened last week that changed my life completely. I had a revelation. And it has to do with these things, with smartphones. It has to do with this. So, before we go into the details of this topic, I want to ask you a question. And I wrote some notes here, so bear with me. I wrote a couple of things here that I want to talk about. So first questions I have for you who is listening to this. Do you often feel anxious? More than you really think is healthy? Do you oftentimes feel depressed? Do you have problems sleeping? Falling asleep. It takes a long time for you to fall asleep. You wake up easily. You can't really sleep through. Do you experience social anxiety? Like, is it difficult for you to feel calm when there's a group of people around you? Do you compare yourself constantly, with other people? Is it difficult for you to find joy in little things, just like as sitting on a balcony and just watching the birds fly? Is it difficult for you to sit quietly with your thoughts? Is that difficult? You always feel the need to be watching something. So when you're like eating, you need to be watching something on YouTube, or you have to be scrolling on social media, or you have to be listening to music when you walk on the street. Like, you cannot walk without music. You cannot walk without a podcast or an audible audiobook in your ears with your AirPods. Is it difficult for you to just be present in this reality? Is it always difficult for you to just do one thing at a time? Because otherwise you get confronted with this feeling of anxiety. Anxiety is very predominantly, you probably don't even remember anymore last time you felt peaceful, last time you felt truly happy. All these things I experienced. My screen time on my phone was not even that high, like an average of 2.5 hours per day. That's not much compared to what most people are actually going through, but it still affected me. I had these problems, and I thought, maybe I need to meditate more. Maybe I just need to go on more walks and anything. I just tried different couple things, but I always had my phone with me. It was always in my pocket, and every time I had nothing to do in a certain moment, I would pull it out. But then last week, for some reason, I decided last Saturday, so today is Sunday, and Saturday 1 week ago, I decided to leave my phone at home. I don't know why. I just had an impulse, and I said, I texted my family in the WhatsApp group saying, hey guys, today I'm not going to take my phone to the school, to the university. I'm just going to leave it at home, so don't worry if I don't pick up. Yeah. So that's the first thing I did, and then I went to university. And it was difficult. The first day was difficult. I was like, every time I stopped practicing, so I'm a musician, I play the cello, I'm a classical musician, and I practice a lot. And when I practice, when I stop practicing, usually what I do is I grab my phone to check whatever. And in the beginning, it was difficult. I felt like there's something missing, right? But then I went home. The first thing I did, of course, was check if my phone was, which messages did I miss and everything. But then the next day, Sunday, I just decided again I'm not going to take my phone this time as well. And I went. The whole day I stayed out. I came back. First thing I did, check my phone, right? Monday arrives, and again, I decide, let's leave the phone at home. Let's not take it today. And I leave it at home. And I don't know what time of the day it was, but at some point, something happened. All of a sudden, I started feeling something that you would call peace. I don't know, because I don't remember anymore what peace actually is, what it was. But I felt peaceful. I didn't feel the need to distract myself anymore. I stopped, I was practicing, And then I stopped, right? And I wanted to, normally what I do is I grab for the next thing, I cannot stay still. I'm restless. But in that moment, I stopped and I just leaned back and I was like, I was just going into my thoughts, and I was not, until at some point I realized, hey, what's happening? Like I'm completely calm. What is this? What is this feeling? And I will go more into detail what happened, but basically what happened is that I felt peaceful for the first time in, I don't know how many years, 12 years? No. Something like that. Because, story before, I got my first smartphone when I was 15, I think. It was in 2013. I'm Generation Z. I'm from 1998. So I'm from this quite of the beginning of the Generation Z. But smartphones became predominant in 2010. Right, and in 2013, I was 15, I received my first smartphone. It was a Samsung Galaxy S4. It was one of those that you could like move your head up and down and it would scroll for you. It was a stupid update they had that didn't really work. But that was one of the first that did these kind of things. And it was a great phone and I loved it. I was addicted to it. I installed my social medias. I had Instagram. And Instagram back in the days was not the one that we have today, right? Now we have real stories. We have whatever, so many things, right? On Instagram. Before it was just really like these rectangular pictures. There was no Instagram stories. There weren't no reels. It was just these pictures and you would only see content from people that you were following. So if you follow 3 people, you would see only content of these 3 people. So if you watched all the content, you had to refresh, but nothing would come new unless someone of them would post something. So that was Instagram. So it was not that toxic as it is today. But still, I got consumed by it. I was constantly checking if there's a new post. I was always like, refresh. All right, Snapchat and all these stuff. And I got into this world and I got addicted. And of course, then later came all these other stuff and Twitter and Facebook and of course these things and not just social media, and ChatGPT came now and all the apps. We use our smartphone for everything. But that's the backstory, right? That's how I came. And since 2013, I never felt this peace anymore that I had this past week. So I decided to leave my phone at home and all of a sudden something changed, right? I have to look up my notes here because I don't really know how to put this completely. So, the problem with the smartphone is that you will always find a way to go back into it. Even if you say to yourself, I'm going to leave my phone, in my pocket, I'm not going to use it, you're always going to find a way back to it. Yeah, you will always find a way to entertain yourself. Yeah, every minute that you are free, every minute that you're waiting for something, like say you're waiting for a friend to arrive, if you're waiting for the train to arrive, the metro, right? If you're in the metro, you're gonna be going to your phone because you can't not stand just still there in the moment and just observe the people around you or something. You have to entertain yourself constantly, and that behavior is the one that creates all the anxiety that you're feeling right now. The anxiety that you feel while watching or listening to this podcast, to this video here, probably you're feeling like, close your eyes right now and feel. How do you feel at the moment specifically right now? Maybe there is a tight pressure on your chest. Maybe you feel a bit like whatever the feeling is in your stomach. You feel, maybe you have a headache. Maybe you don't feel calm. You don't feel peaceful right now. It's almost certain that you who is watching this, you don't feel it. It's because you use your free moments every single time to grab the smartphone and look at something. And I did this thing where I deleted Instagram from my phone. I deleted all the social media apps. But it was not enough because somehow my brain tricked me to still find a way to go back to my phone. If there was an Instagram on my phone, I would go on the browser and type Instagram and look on my Instagram through the browser. Or if I wouldn't do that, I would find other ways. I would check my emails. I would go on Google Maps and just randomly look at the map and see which cities I like, because I couldn't just not grab my phone. I had to go on ChatGPT, ask some random questions. I would go to my photos and just watch the photos, because that's also a way to entertain myself. I would go on my Amazon wish list. I would check the things I want to buy or things that I bought in the past and read the comments. I would go on YouTube. There's always ways for you to entertain yourself if you have that thing. So my challenge to you is, if you want to get over all of these shitty feelings that you have, and you want to get your life back, you want to feel like a child again. Remember that feeling you had before you were 10. Yeah, unless you had a shitty childhood and traumatic experiences, then of course I recommend you to talk to a psychologist and to work on these traumas. But if you had a good childhood, chances are that you're in 2010, before 2010, if you had a childhood in that time, you felt happy, you felt content, everything was simple. That feeling is possible to acquire again if you let go of your phone, if you leave it at home for at least 3 to 5 days, because you need the time to reset, because you are in a habit, right? There is a habit and you have to break that habit, and it goes faster than you think. I left my phone home for 5 days. I mean, I left it home for longer now, but the first 5 days were like critical, and after that, all of a sudden, I started to see colors in the life again. I started to enjoy mundane things, like sitting on a balcony, not doing anything was more pleasurable, was more exciting than scrolling on social media or to be on my phone. It is more exciting for me to sit now in the metro and observe the people around me. Sometimes I don't even want to watch a movie on Spotify, because I'm just like, on Netflix or YouTube, because I'm just content reading a book, which is a low form of social of entertainment, right? And it's crazy. It is possible but you have to commit. You have to really decide. I'm not gonna take my phone now. If you go to work, if you go to school, if you go to university, to decide, hey, I'm gonna leave my phone now at home for these moments where I'm out of the house, to not be on my phone. Likely it is that you live in a city that you more or less know, so Google Maps in your day-to-day life is not really necessary. You know that the stores open more or less at the same time, so that's not an excuse. You will always you probably have some excuses in your head right now. No, but I need my phone. Well, what I did, first of all, I switched to a flip phone like this one. Maybe you even remember, if you are from my time, this was the phones that we used before. I'm reachable, so people can reach me now if for some ever reason, my family needs something or whatever. Whoever is important to you can reach you, but there's nothing else I can do with this. I cannot do anything else besides calling and sending messages, So that's the first thing you have to understand, that if you want to get rid of these anxieties, the sleeplessness nights, the depression, the shitty feelings, getting rid of the phone might not solve all your problems, but it is the catalyst. It's the one thing that opens the door of opportunities for you to solve other problems much easier, because all the problems that you are experiencing right now are mostly just in your head. The anxiety that you're feeling is irrelevant. It's an illusion. You shouldn't feel anxious at the moment. If you're watching this podcast, if you're listening to this video, there shouldn't be any reason for you to feel anxious right now. It's not normal. The fact is, you need to stop your phone addiction by not allowing it to be next to you. Even if you think, I'm going to take my phone with me, but I'm not going to use it. It's not going to work. You're going to use it. You're going to find a way. You're just going to say, I just have to send one message and then I'll put it away again. You send that message and then you're fucked again. You're again in it and you cannot get out of it. And the reason why it is so difficult for you to enjoy mundane things like cleaning the house, like going to the toilet without using your phone, the reason why this is so difficult for you is because your dopamine is at an all-time high at the baseline. So in order for you to feel content and feel happy, you need a high intensity of entertainment. If it is form of listening to music, Spotify, listening to the podcast, watching a video on YouTube, scrolling through Instagram, sending messages, these are all ways in which you feel more or less okay while you're doing that. But as soon as you stop, your anxiety comes back. And this is really, really key. You have to get rid of it entirely. Yeah, you need to give your mind time to reset. And after 5 days, if you do that, you will discover a beautiful, blissful world of happiness. It's hard to believe. I understand. Maybe you don't believe me right now, but it is true. If you try it, I just challenge you. Try it. Try it for 5 days. And if you don't like it, go back to your smartphone. Do whatever you want. But if you try it and then you tell me that you don't like it, yeah, then so be it. But I guarantee you, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel so much better. Peace will be feelable, and you don't want to go back after that. So you're gonna have some symptoms. Yeah, you're gonna have some withdrawal symptoms, which is normal with every addiction. Once you stop using the phone, you will notice that you're gonna get fidgety. You there's something missing. You're like, fuck, I need my phone again, right? It's normal. So you have to just plow through that first signs of withdrawal, but you have to stay strong and go through it. And after 3 more or less days, all of a sudden, calm, peace. And the problem is, it's not the screens in general. Like if you have to work on a laptop, I understand it's something you should do. You also should, if you have to watch a movie because you really want to watch it, no problem, not at all. You can watch YouTube things when you are at home. The real problem is those moments where you have nothing to do, yeah, and on the street when you're waiting for something. These are the critical moments where you cannot touch your phone. And the only way you cannot touch your phone is if you don't have the opportunity. Even like just having the phone, the presence of it in your surroundings can be problematic because you have the opportunity to have the world in your hands. And that already alone creates the anxiety, right? And once you overcome the first few days of doing this detox, to not having your smartphone with you, all of a sudden you're gonna have feelings of that the world is yours. You're gonna start feeling like you get your life back. All of a sudden everything is more beautiful. Everything you will start enjoying the small things, like I said before, right? And it's gonna affect your confidence. So you're not gonna give a fuck about what people think about you anymore. What happened to me is when I started not using my phone, I started walking on the street, I just started singing. I was like, yeah, maybe people think I'm crazy, but I just started singing out loud. I didn't care. I was feeling so good that I had to express it somehow. So I just started singing, and maybe people looked at me, but I didn't care. I was literally like, so what? My life is better than yours. I mean, I didn't say that, of course, but I was literally thinking. And every time now I see people in the metro all with their phones, I just look at them and I just think to myself, if you only knew what I'm experiencing right now, because I just don't have my phone, all of a sudden your life, you would never go back to the way you're living it right now. And how it feels for me to tell someone about this, because of course now, since I experienced this great happiness and this peace within me, I want to share it. I want to tell people, look, man, listen to me. I'm telling you, put your phone aside and don't use it for a few days. Really, it's going to change your life. And then, of course, people say, yeah, you're right. I wish I could do that. Or, yeah, of course. Yeah, I will try it. But they're not going to try. It's an excuse. Maybe you were even thinking that, hey, I'm going to do it. But, maybe I'll start tomorrow. Maybe I'll start next week. No, you have to do it now. I'm telling you, if you want to better your life, if you want it to be better tomorrow, you start today. And it feels like, I know that there are diamonds in the floor here, and you have to make a hole there. You were looking for the diamonds, right? I tell you, they are here. I know they're here. I saw them, so they're here. And then you say, yes, I will try over there. No, don't try over there. Do it here. I'm telling you, the diamonds are here. Take the fucking shovel and make a hole. You will find them. It's here. And then you say, yeah, but maybe later. Why later? It's right here. Why don't you take it? Why don't you make a hole and get the diamonds? Yeah, but I will try. But I will try over there. No, I'm telling you, the fucking diamonds are here. Just make a fucking hole here and you will find them. That's how it feels to tell people what they're missing out. If you get this done, I swear to God, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel so much better. And the world is going to be a better place if everyone starts doing that. If you feel that you're getting better, tell your friends, tell your family, show that you switched to a phone like this. Show them that you got a really shitty smartphone that only allows 2 or 3 apps because, you need maybe WhatsApp for some reason. I think, I will get maybe like a jelly, what is it called? Unihertz phone that are like this small, they have like an operating system of Android. But literally, if you have like 3 or 4 apps in it, it's already getting slower. So for me, I just have WhatsApp in it, maybe Google Maps. That's all. Nothing else. Because then I can at least be reachable also through WhatsApp or any other texting platform that you might use. And if you do that, if you feel better, show it to other people. Tell them how you feel. Convince them. Because that's our generation, Generation Z, we protest about so many things. Climate change, become vegan, whatever the politic situation, whatever the wars, we're all protesting, but you don't understand the biggest problem that you're having right now is that you're addicted to these fucking things. That's the problem. And you don't even realize how much energy and time and fucking, life quality you're just throwing away by being constantly on that thing. I mean, look around you. Look where you go outside. Everyone is on the phone. They don't realize how they're throwing their time and life away. I'm so grateful. I'm 27 now. I figured this out now. Yeah, since 15, I've been living in this prison, and there's like, how you call this, the allegory of Plato, where people are in a cave, and we are all watching the shadows on the wall and think that's reality. No, I'm telling you, leave that at home, and you will experience reality, and you will feel so much better. And I'm speaking specifically also to you Gen Z people, yeah? Everyone who is born after the year 2000, I'm telling you, you are the most affected. I was starting to read this book called Generation Anxiety or something like this. Anxious Generation or something like that. There's a book called, maybe I'll pop it up here. That book, I didn't read that and then I became, maybe I should not leave my phone. No, I left my phone and all of a sudden that book came into my hands somehow. Seemed like, I don't know, it had to be. And it confirmed my discoveries because I started feeling so much better after 3 days and I realized it is the phone. And then I started reading this book and it confirmed my theory. It's like, yeah, okay, now everything makes sense. So if you want to feel better, if you want to be a happy person, if you don't want to feel anxious anymore, if you don't want to feel depressed, that's step number 1. Get rid of the phone. And then you have the energy to work on yourself and do meditations, all that stuff, and try to better overcome your traumas and all the other problems that you might have or family problems. But you are able to solve those problems way faster if you allow your mind to fade out. The only way it can fade out is by you letting it fade out, by not getting distracted with the smartphones. So I don't know how it's really important, yeah. Another side effect I also noticed is that I discovered new hobbies. Like for now, I bought this camera now because I don't have a real. This camera is really shitty, so I just invested in a really nice Lumix TZ200 camera. It's like a travel compact camera. I discovered I have new hobbies. I start photographing now. I didn't do that before, but all of a sudden, because I have more time, because I have more energy, and because I'm happier, I discovered that I have other passions now and other hobbies, and I love to go out now and just take pictures of stuff and not take my phone with me. The camera that I'm recording this right now, also I discovered I love to make vlogs and YouTube videos and podcasts and this kind of stuff. I still use social media in a sense of, using it as a creative outlet. But I'm not consuming anymore. I'm not lost in the scrolling. I'm not lost in this whole thing. So once you do this, once you do these 5 days, you're going to use social media maybe, or you're going to delete it completely. But if you use it, you're going to use it differently. You're not going to use it the same way as you're using it right now. So I repeated myself a couple of times, but I just think it's really necessary to repeat myself over and over until, people understand. So again, do these 5 days, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.